let's try this again because we just Ken is recreating. This is the second time we've done this. We got 20 minutes in, and I realized my audio wasn't recording for some fucked up reason.
It's a Greek tragedy. Absolutely,
it is.
We've been recording so long that the sun has gone down.
I know it wasn't that long. It was like 15 minutes or something like that. But 20 minutes.
Adjust the gain on my fucking camera.
Yeah. Okay, we are Murder Moose, part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
It's in the game.
And I'm Rod.
I'm Continue.
I am Brian.
Yes. I am Brian.
I'm having deja vu. I feel like we've already done this today.
I think we've done this a lot of times, and we've done this today. And yep, okay. But we're back. We're gonna go do a quick recap. Ken got assaulted by a whole tribe of ecstasy rollers. Brian got
by a Santa telling me about Trump should buy Canada.
Brian got really drunk drinking purple Kool-Aid, and
facts.
And I made cookies, and that is the recap of everything. And then I proceeded.
Recap, man.
That was a great recap. I didn't want to tell that story again.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to just scream, and then realized the audio was broken because I was screaming like a lunatic. So yeah, but we're back. We're recording a couple days after Christmas, and we're here. I was saying that also that I went and saw. Me and Brian were like discussing how much we liked Nosferatu, the Robert Eggers movie. No details besides like saying that I wish Bill Skarsgård had subtitles. But like besides that, it was mostly that. And then
Did you know that his prosthetic penis went home with one of the actors?
That's hilarious.
I don't remember.
That was what Socrates told me. The first thing Socrates told me after seeing the movie was that you could see Robert, you could see what do you call him, Bill Skarsgård's prosthetic penis, and yeah, it's not a real. It's not like one of those shots.
Nicholas Hoult took it home.
Lex Luthor had. Lex
Luthor needed that.
Yeah, he's gonna kill Superman with Nosferatu's penis. I mean
that Orlok weenie.
Dude. Yeah, but yeah, Brian and I both said we both liked it. Brian said it's probably his favorite Eggers movie. I could maybe think that I don't know. I haven't finished The Northman yet. I'm like got 10 minutes left of that movie, and then it's up there though. It like definitely like I still don't think this probably would have probably made my top 5 of the year. I don't think it would have.
This would have been probably my number 2.
It would have been up there with like Strange Darling and The Substance.
I still love Strange Darling.
Yep.
So fucking
I love Strange Darling so much.
Yep. So it was. If you haven't seen it, Ken lives in BFE. So we'll do it in a couple months when it comes onto whatever. And man, Aaron Taylor Johnson had a hell of a month, man. He went from Craven to.
I watched that the other day.
The only reason I want to watch that is because of him. Because that man.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But
really,
I really enjoyed it though. I'm not gonna lie.
I heard it was a good like if you want to sit there and make fun of a movie, it's wonderful for that. It's
not as bad as like Morbius was in that respect.
Well, that's because Morbius is boring. That movie was
yeah.
And the other problem with Morbius, the only person who knew their assignment in that movie was Matt Smith. Matt Smith was the only. Everybody else was like they were acting like they were making Nosferatu that we just were talking about, and then fucking Matt Smith's like, oh, this is a hammy piece of shit movie. I'm gonna ham it up, and just was the best. Because I mean, let's be real. I love Doctor Who, but Doctor Who could be real hammy at times. So Matt Smith's like, oh, I can be hammy like on. Yeah.
I keep thinking you're saying handy, and I can't tell if you're talking about like getting handsy, like or like handy, like I'm really good at fixing shit.
No, hammy, like cheesy, like. Yeah. I mean, okay, and then next, Ken and Brian, what are cum gutters? What did we learn today?
Abs.
There you go.
Abs.
That was part of our first recording. They didn't know what cum gutters were. I was referring to Bill Skarsgård in The Northman. And cum gutters. Yes, cum gutters. Okay.
I get it. It does make sense.
Yeah. I all the things you learn on the internet. Cum gutters is one of the things I've learned on the internet, and here we are in 2024. So Ken, I want to tell you another thing real quick before we go back to the movie. I may never talk to the lady again because she decided that she was going to Costco on Sunday, and I was like, well, it was nice knowing you because Costco on Sunday means you'll never come back again. You never go to Costco on Sunday.
That's dangerous. It's not going to either Costco or Sam's Club, either one of them two places.
I went on Monday to get some stuff for Christmas. Holy shit, dude. It was just like, it was... I went
their mother out to get the Costco pumpkin pie. Don't they have like the massive pumpkin pie that you
They do. I got one of those for Thanksgiving. I didn't see them for Christmas, but they had them for Thanksgiving. I don't know, man. It was chaos. Ken, I want to know, did anyone die off of their ecstasy the trolling or like they're riding around town? Because when you started talking about them rolling,
she would have mentioned that.
I mean, maybe. But I was just like, when Ken's like, we got a phone call, I was like, oh, did someone roll off the back of the truck? Like their parade float truck that they were all... Dude, moving vehicles in ecstasy sounds like a real bad idea, but who am I in the fucking equation of everything? So I'm assuming no one died, right, Ken?
Yeah, not to my knowledge.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back and we'll start. And this probably could end up being a shorter episode because, like, I kind of ranted and just lost all my energy ranting about how much I hate this movie. We're going to talk about 1979.
It's hilarious that happened, by the way.
Yeah. Dude, it's not like I planned the rant. It was just like...
No, there was definitely no rehearsal about that.
No. Like, rehearsal? Not for me? No. Okay, Ken, you want to read the synopsis for Nosferatu 1979 again?
Count Dracula moves from Transylvania to Windsor, spreading the Black Plague across the land. Only a woman pure of heart can bring an end to his reign of horror.
So, Socrates taught me while I was bullshitting about this movie that, because I knew literally almost nothing about Nosferatu besides it was a vampire movie from 1922 originally. And I start watching it and I'm like, this is Dracula. And so I learned that they made Nosferatu with no rights at all. And then all copies were like, they got sued by Stoker's estate and, they got most of the copies of it destroyed in 1979.
1922 version?
Yeah, the 1922 version. And so there are versions of it now, like all over the internet. They had to put them back together. And Socrates was informing me that the problem was nobody had written down like how fast the film projector was supposed to play back. And so the movie is it's anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes long because the speed is not like, nobody knows what the actual speed was. And the guy who did, according to Socrates, the best version of it, went out and did they lost the score too. So like that was like when they were still like, I think they were like separate reels or whatever. But, so then when the rights had, like the 100 years or whatever were up, this is when this film came out in 1979 and is considered, according to the internet, German's finest film is what, like, yeah. Yeah, this movie is considered Germany's finest film. If you're not watching the video,
like just a random tidbit trivia that I think is fascinating about this movie. They could not find, first of all, Klaus Kinski apparently was like the biggest piece of shit on set.
He is,
and the rats were better behaved than he was.
Yeah.
Also, they could not get rats of the correct color, so the rats that are in there have been painted.
Oh, that's
they painted
up.
all of those rats.
Dude, they also lost the town they were originally going to record in Amsterdam because they found out.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
they found out about the 10,000 rats they were planning on releasing into the streets, and they went, "No, you're not recording here anymore." And they had to find a secondary dude. This isn't a story thing, but Brian, I was laughing so hard at like comparing the 1979 boat scene to the 2024 boat scene, because the 1979 boat scene is just like, oh, we just casually locked against the side of the like the channel, right, in like Amsterdam, and in new it's just like the boat's just like destroyed and everything like
just
that,
trashed.
Yeah, and it made me laugh. Yeah, so this director is notorious for being a piece of shit, and also the guy who played Nosferatu was notorious for being a piece of shit, right?
Klaus Kinski's a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Is he like, because I think I've seen other things about him. He was like a pretty big German actor this time frame, right?
Yeah, he was. In Germany, though. I mean, he really didn't do a whole lot over here. And what he did over here wasn't anything of any real bona fide merit for the most part.
He was in B movies, right?
I do believe he was nominated for an Academy Award for something, though. I'm trying to remember.
Dude, I really don't like the look of his Nosferatu compared to like the original. Like, it wasn't like they toned it down to the point where it was like the original Nosferatu has that such an iconic look, right? And they like with those like he's got the ears like the original, but like his features don't feel as defined. Like he feels like more like a Halloween costume version of it, even though you were saying it took a long while to put on his makeup every day.
Yeah, it was like 4 hours, and then he apparently like he would like rip it off at the end of the day. So they had to redo it every time. They were destroyed at removal. Oh, wait, no, he didn't rip it off. He was notorious for his violent daily temper tantrums, but he had a very good relationship with the Japanese makeup artist and was exceedingly patient and well-behaved during makeup. He took it in stride because he felt like it was really important. But yeah, like he just had a lot of fits, but he'd sit for 4 hours.
Dude, that's like the thing, man. Like a lot of Halloween, a lot of makeup that like on actors ends up being a big problem. Like if you ever know about the what's her name, Mysterio in the X-Men movies, like Rebecca Romijn was the original one, right? But then Jennifer Lawrence played it in the new ones, and she fucking like hated it so badly that like the makeup kept getting scaled back until she was barely in anything like by the end of those movies. And there was like, I saw something recently. It was about Jim Carrey saying he would do another Grinch movie if it was just motion capture, because he hated that makeup process.
Yeah, most people do.
Yeah,
that's why. Oh fuck, what's his name? Doug Jones is well respected in the industry because he doesn't care, and he's like so used to it. He doesn't care. He'll sit for it. He just chills, like, and he moves well with it, and he never complains. And so that's why people are like, we want to work with him if we have to do heavy makeup or prosthetics.
I saw when I was looking at IMDb,
because he just did Nosferatu, but the stage production.
Yeah.
So it was going on at the same time, and they were like trying to like, because at first when I saw it, I was like, oh fuck, he's in this too, Jesus. But no, he's in the stage production.
Yeah. Dude is, I mean,
he was fantastic too.
Yeah.
Dude is always fantastic. Like he was great on What We Do in the Shadows. He was great. He's always great whenever he like does something. Can I throw
something back in about rats that I just found?
Yes.
Okay. The rats were imported from Hungary. I never say it right. I apologize. They started to eat each other upon arrival in the Netherlands. They had to be dyed gray, but in order to do so, the cages containing the rats had to be submerged in boiling water for several seconds, causing half of them to die. And then they proceeded to lick themselves clean of the dye immediately, which is why they're not like super stark colored.
They cooked them like lobsters?
Wow.
Dude, movies, man. If you like the 70s, particularly a lot of the Italian exploitation films like Cannibal Holocaust and shit like that, which I refuse to ever watch because they were really killing turtles and shit like that. Nope, will not ever watch that. They did not give a fuck, man. And so I'm glad I didn't know that before we picked this, because holy fuckballs, that's.
Well, wasn't it Friday the 13th where Kevin Bacon actually cuts the head off of that snake and it was like a whole big ordeal?
I don't think was there a snake in Friday the 13th? No.
Yeah, like when
Yeah,
they're
they in the original one they killed a snake.
yeah.
Oh.
It was like a really big deal because he straight up actually killed the snake.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys ever, I don't know if I've talked about it here, but Milo Notice, which was a Chinese movie, which they chucked a bunch of orange cats off the cliff, like when the cat jumps over the waterfall in the movie, and they were just chucking orange cats off like it was like no big deal, like. And then because it was a Chinese movie, so like they didn't give a fuck. I mean, and so they were just chucking cats off them. Yeah, so that shit doesn't like. I mean, it was always worse in other countries, but obviously, like Brian's talking about, you guys were Friday the 13th. I don't even remember this. Like, of all the Friday the 13th, like I think the first one is regardless of quality, it is probably the like second or third least likely for me to watch behind like 5.
Oh yeah. I would watch part 8 before I watch the original Friday the 13th.
Yeah, the original is like difficult, and like the whole concept of like the franchise you don't need the original one. Like at no point in time. I mean, it's great backstory. I personally love it, but
and I'm the same. I mean, I do. I love the original F-13, but it's not. I don't think it's as fun as fucking 90% of the rest of the franchise. Like Jason, like Takes Manhattan is very much a guilty pleasure for me.
Yep.
I know we're not talking about that movie. And
well, I know, but it's the thing. It's like it's that thing where like the animal cruelty was way more acceptable in the 70s and like other countries, right?
Yeah, I want to say that's what a lot of people don't like Cannibal Holocaust for as well.
That's why I just said I did just bring Cannibal Holocaust. So
you totally did.
They killed a turtle, right? Like I think is what it was. Yeah. It doesn't like you can't do that anymore, and like it. I don't even know if like they want you killing bugs and shit like that in movies anymore. But like CG, why would you ever do it with CG that exists, right? Like it's something that's like it's
that's just like why would you ever have a live firearm on a fucking set anymore? Baldwin.
I mean, after the Crow, I was like, shouldn't that have been a big enough lesson for everybody? But no,
you would think.
But no.
I mean, people are like, we want authenticity. You're stupid.
Are the rats?
If you want authenticity, go to a fucking museum and tour a museum.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to watch a movie because of authenticity.
Are the rats in the new Nosferatu all CG? I wonder. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think they're real.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think because I was looking at the rats for this, and I think they said they used 5,000 for it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense because Robert Eggers is very much like he's kind of like what do you call him? He's kind of like
5,000 live rats. Sorry,
they used 5,000 live rats in a 2024 fucking movie.
The rat mats that had effects and they came later and were animated, but they did use 5,000 real live rats.
That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I have to say, like, okay, Brian, you might have background on this because I don't know, and I just watched the 1979 last night and then the new one today.
I might have because I'm old, huh?
No, I meant because you had seen this before, you asshole.
It's okay.
No, I will call you old and not fucking revert on it. You were old as fuck. But this
I'll call you old and I won't hide it, motherfucker.
Yeah, but that wasn't the point of what I was saying. It was your having seen this movie, motherfucker, before today. What I was saying was so they took Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Correct. Yes.
And went, we don't want to pay anyone for that, so we're going to make Nosferatu. They make Nosferatu in 1922, and then they went, hey guys, that's a little illegal. You didn't pay us for that, so they destroyed most of the copies. But what I want to know is, where did the plague thing come from? Like, I wonder, do you have any idea why they decided they were going to make the plague thing happen in the original, I assume 1922 version of it? Because it's in the 1970s.
It's been a while since I've seen the 22 version, but I'm assuming that was probably just kind of an original idea to create some sort of creative difference between the Bram Stoker work and the Nosferatu work.
Yeah.
Because I also haven't read Bram Stoker's Dracula in a very fucking long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
It's
either.
honestly a very hard book to read.
Yeah.
And I don't remember there being any plague reference. There might have been, though. I'm not gonna lie. But no, yeah. Now, if you're wondering, I thought you were getting ready to ask why they started using the actual names from Bram Stoker's Dracula in the 79 version.
But,
and I have an answer for that. That is
because,
okay.
Give me 1 second before you do that.
Bram Stoker's Dracula had entered public domain.
Yeah, it had entered public domain, which they say Dracula a couple times in this film.
Yeah, his name is Dracula.
Yeah, yeah, and Dracula's never mentioned in this version, like the 2024
in
version.
The newest one.
Yeah, it's no Dracula at all.
Yeah, they go back to calling him Count Orlok, which I like, honestly.
Yeah,
this story is different enough.
Yeah.
From Bram Stoker's Dracula to stand on its own.
You know what's funny? They go into the connection in the new one more than they do in this 1979 version between her
and much better.
Yeah. And because in this version,
that being said, though, like with them going into the connection like that, wouldn't that be because technically the 1979 one is Nosferatu the Vampire, not just Nosferatu?
Maybe.
So like they can kind of use that as like it's acceptable to kind of skirt that a little bit.
Well,
maybe
it's funny because like the mythos is like it's in this movie is heavily kind of like they don't distinguish. Wasn't Van Helsing in this one? Like one of the characters in like back in Amsterdam or something like that? Was he one of the characters that like? Because I'm trying to think of like I was sitting there and like of all the things that are what?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's like they even have Van Helsing, which is just like I mean
it's all the names from Bram Stoker. It's all the main names. It's Count Dracula. It's Lucy Harker. It's Jonathan Harker. Renfield. Abraham Van Helsing. Like it's all. He used all the names from the Bram Stoker novel in this particular movie, and I'm sure he probably did that to for familiarity.
Yeah.
You know, for people seeing like a vampire movie, a Dracula movie.
Yeah.
People that had already seen the Universal classic. And I believe at this time the remake had been out, the Universal remake with Frank Langella. I think that had been out already. And this came out in 79. And I want to say Frank Langella's Dracula came out in 19 same year, so never I don't know,
so
maybe
I mean but we had at this point they'd been doing Hammer Dracula movies for like
Hammer.
20 years.
I don't know why that because those are fantastic.
I mean Christopher Lee is pretty much to like older horror fans he's Dracula. I mean I know a lot of newer people.
There's a whole group of people that are diehard Hammer horror fans that they hang their hat on that vampire, and rightfully so. He's fantastic. I'm a Bela Lugosi guy myself.
Yeah,
but there's nothing wrong with the Hammer Draculas at all. They're fucking great movies.
I don't think I've seen any of them. Like
they're so good. Like they really are. Like
I've bounced off a lot of the 30s monster movies. Like
if you like this movie, you'll love those fucking Hammer films, Rod.
But I hate this movie, and we've gone over that like 7 times, dude. This movie
is all about atmosphere, and I know how much you love atmosphere.
No, this movie is all about hammy acting. It's about fucking. I want to take whoever mixed the score for this for this movie and take them out and use their their genitalia as like a speed bag because holy shit, why is the music drowned out the fucking dialogue? It is so bad. It's like they're like, oh, maybe if we drowned out the dialogue with the music, you won't notice how
you're tripping. Like, I kind of knew you weren't gonna like this movie when I suggested it anyway. We're talking about a low budget film, also. This movie costs like $1 million to make. And even in '79, that wasn't a lot of fucking money. But
I mean, that's pretty equivalent to like what most horror movies are. Like, if you inflation
for sure, for sure, But so once again, low budget because back then making horror movies was kind of gross. Everybody kind of viewed it as being gross. Dude, ironically, Roger Ebert gave this movie 4 out of 4 stars.
Well, dude, it's also like weirdly like. When I started, I'm like, a vampire movie that's rated PG and like it is. I know. Okay, I understand in the 70s and like.
Yeah, they didn't have PG-13 yet.
They didn't. Well, they didn't, and PG was like, oh, you can have like tits and ass, just not for very long. You could like murder people, just like not too graphically, and it was like PG wasn't what it was. It is now, but like, I'm like, this movie is oddly tame for like the subject matter. Like it is I don't know, man. I was watching when I was watching it, I kept looking at the main character and going, why does this guy remind me of Javier Bardem so much? And I kept seeing like Javier Bardem as a vampire. Like I was like, what? Also, like, I don't know, like, why? Okay, this movie obviously it gets called the greatest German film ever, and
I'm not seeing that anywhere.
I saw. I mean, something. So I went to see the new one at Alamo, and they were playing all these old things beforehand. And one of the things was like, this is considered the greatest German film of all time. And so I was like, I mean, I don't get it. Ken, is this the greatest German film of all time?
Oh, absolutely. To be fair, I could not name off the top of my head a German film to compare it to.
The Lives of Others. There was just a fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anywhere where you're saying that they call this the greatest German film ever made. Like, I can't find that anywhere, bro.
We've done one other German film on this podcast called Der Samurai, which involved a naked man running at someone.
I remember listening to that episode.
Running at someone with a boner and a samurai sword, and a fully erect penis, and running at somebody with a samurai sword. So the highlight of the early years of Murder Moose, boners and samurai swords and German movies. I will say, okay, I think the cinematography in this movie is pretty good for like what it is. For I don't like so many elements of this film. I thought the cinematography was pretty entertaining. The castle was pretty cool looking. Which I assume they just shot at a German castle that they could get their hands on. And I don't know if I could say many more nice things about this film other than that. This movie at
they definitely did a good job of making him creepy. Like, absolutely, they did a phenomenal job of making him creepy. I want to know, is Renfield in the new Nosferatu?
You want to know if that character is?
Yeah.
Do you want us to answer that question?
No, don't actually answer it. But because I knew Renfield as Nicholas Holt's Renfield.
I love you.
I fucking love Renfield from that perspective.
That character's not in any other movie anywhere.
Okay. But yeah, like the second that he started talking, I was like, he did not say he's Renfield. And then he kept going and I was like, oh my God. He does a great job of making me uncomfortable. Like every time he got on screen, I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like you. Please fuck off. Like, get him off the screen.
Please fuck off.
You know what with him that I cracked up about? He's in the insane asylum cell and he's got a container filled with flies. Where the fuck did he get the container of flies? Did they just go, hey, crazy guy, here's a container of flies. You can
You never caught a fly before?
No, he has like a fucking 18-inch by fucking 12-inch fucking, like, it looks like a giant lantern just filled with
shit else to do all day, bro. You catch flies.
But where did he get the container? He's in a crazy hut.
Hey, man, I worked in one of those. Okay, you can have certain things.
Like a container of flies?
Yeah.
Also, I have the ending of this movie, because the container flies like bounced my brain to. He goes into moonlight and it freezes him. Like I thought. I thought it was like her she sacrifices herself. The end of this movie gets so much weirder than the whole movie's artsy, but they were like, oh shit, we're almost, the last 20 minutes of this movie gets so fucking like, there's a scene where they're just all just having dinner on a patio somewhere, and they're like, and then they all disappear, and it's like, what the fuck was that? And then I thought she went into the crypt and killed him. No, she didn't do that. I'm like, also, why does every vampire movie think that going after, we talked about this when we did the last voyage of the Demeter, why are you yeah, let's go fight Dracula at nighttime, because that makes a lot of fucking sense.
Maybe it's the only time that they can find Dracula.
But he's not in his coffin at night.
Well, maybe they don't know where his coffin is. I don't know.
I mean, they found his coffin in this one. He's 20 coffins filled with dirt. His 20 coffins filled with dirt that are just maybe
it's not this movie for me. Okay, maybe it's just because the Voyage of the Last Demeter put me to sleep, and maybe it's, I hate to say it, but maybe it is Nosferatu and Dracula overall. But no, because the Dracula show was really good, and I liked the book, the original book.
Did you like the Bram Stoker one?
The book, yeah.
No, I meant the movie, Bram Stoker's Dracula, with Keanu Reeves and Gary Oldman.
I don't remember it. I think I saw it, but I don't remember it.
Gary Oldman kills it as Dracula in that movie. He's so fucking good in that movie.
It's all about Keanu, baby. Finest accent ever.
That's the worst acting of all time. And it's he would have fit in perfectly in this 1979 Nosferatu, just hamming it up, dude, just 100%. So bad. Dude, the main actress in this movie, the entire time, she looks like someone stuck a thumb up her ass, and she's like, oh, she doesn't look scared. She just looks like she's trying to look scared. This is my biggest issue with this movie. It was it seemed like he wanted them to act like the silent film actors, where you have to overact because you don't have dialogue. So they're he's overact, and then they did that and realized how bad it was. So they were maybe if we put the score on top of it real loud, nobody will notice the terrible acting. And the English version, and I assume that the German acting is just because from they're syncing up voices with the dubbing, right? The German actors are bad. Their facial expressions are bad. Everything about them is bad. And then you take the corny English dubs on top of it, and you're like, oh, this is just, there's no way that the German acting wasn't as bad from just looking at their faces and tracking it, right? I don't know. I can't. Brian, how did you know I was going to despise this so bad? I mean, I don't know if you...
Because I just know you. I know that this kind of stuff would have irritated you. I think that you're looking at a German movie from an American perspective. And that shocks me a little bit that you're doing that, because you are so fond of Korean films, and you can look at them because you know as well as I do that culturally,
yeah,
films are made differently.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me that you're not giving this movie the same break that you would give a Korean film.
Well, no,
because
I will tell you, Brian, because when we did Dirt Samurai, when I've watched other,
I understand
the acting equates to being competent acting that isn't.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying that you are. I can tell you're not giving this the same break that you would give a Korean.
Maybe, Brian. But I want to tell you something. It's not that this German acting. It's the overacting of every character in this movie.
I don't disagree. This movie definitely isn't perfect, and I'm not going to sit here and defend it like it fucking is. But I am gonna point out some stuff. I think that you're misunderstanding the movie. You were on to something when you said that you felt like he had them kind of overreact, because this movie is made as a direct homage to a 1922 silent film, and he filmed it as such intentionally.
Yeah.
He absolutely did that. So that is why a lot of the movie is the way it is. It is.
I was going to say, you don't have to defend it. Like, you liking this is totally fine.
Oh, no. I don't like this movie that fucking much. Okay.
Well, I'm
don't
just
get me
saying,
wrong.
like, I've had moments where I've like really loved a movie and everybody on the podcast is shit all over it. And then by the end of it, I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. But no, like, I can see why people would like it. I still
I'm not going to sit here and defend it like it's the greatest film, because it's fucking not. Like, I like it. It's fine to me. I think it's good, but I don't think it's fucking great by any means. I think when I see the reviews for this movie, I don't understand how so many. Like I said, I genuinely don't know why Roger Ebert loved this movie that much. He gave it 4 out of 4, which I think is fucking bizarre,
dude. It's that
I wouldn't have given it more than a. I would give it like a 3 out of 4. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it does a lot of the things that he wanted it to do very, very well, but it's kind of a painful watch.
Dude, it's like Skinamarink. It's like Skinamarink. I'm gonna compare it. It's that thing where when these people who review movies for a living, especially Roger Ebert and like him, like, and you see something unique. That is such a high caliber of like, oh, at least it's unique, that these motherfuckers give slack to these movies because it's so fucking different. Like, it doesn't mean that like
different isn't always good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ken's favorite movie of all time, Skinamarink, is as different as you could get.
her eyes shot lasers right now.
Yeah, I would have the Black Plague if Ken's eyes.
Do you know what I think you could do with Skinamarink? Honestly, I think it would be great to use it as publicity for the Cybertruck and just play Skinamarink in the Cybertruck the whole time, because the people that like Skinamarink are the same people that like Cybertrucks. They're like, ooh, look at me, I like things. Sorry, that was stupid. I like things.
I like things.
I have such a refined palate that you don't understand with your simpleton mind, and I have to drink my tea with my pinky pointing out like this. Oh, this whole thing is like, again, we've talked about this on this podcast more than once. One of the problems is when you praise something as much as this, not even taking out me saying that I saw it called the greatest German film ever. Like Brian was saying, this movie's got really good reviews. Like, what is the rating on Rotten Tomatoes, Brian?
Like 90 something, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, man. It's 94%. And that is out of, let me pull up the site itself. That is out of 67 reviews. And then the audience score is even high. It's like 83 out of 10,000 people.
That's insane to me. I don't understand how 83% of
that many people just loving this film. But at the same time, I can't completely disagree, because I do enjoy the movie. Yeah. It's not something that I watch regularly by any means, because let's face it, it's honestly kind of not a super fun watch. Like, no. I respect. I think I like this movie as much as I like Chainsaw, the original Chainsaw Massacre. I like this movie as much as I like that.
I think you're insane, but I love you.
I know. I do. Because I like the original Chainsaw movie, but I respect it for what it did for horror cinema. In many ways that I respect this for what it did. I like the movie. I do. I like this movie. I don't hate this movie at all. But I definitely question the overinflated legacy that this movie has. Because I question the overinflated legacy of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Because that's a flawed movie.
Yeah.
That for some reason the Uber fans of that movie refuse to look at their flaws in that movie. And they say things like, you're not supposed to worry about that. Why am I not supposed to worry about poor acting in your movie? It's a movie.
Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you should definitely worry about poor acting, but
dude,
I think a lot of the people that defend Texas Chainsaw Massacre as hard as they do it's more of a defense based on like what it was for the time and like what it did for the genre and stuff.
And that's very fair. But, yeah.
Dude, I mean, because like that's why I would defend it. I find it funny. I think it's a very entertaining movie in the sense that it's fucking hilarious. It's twisted. And if you get a chance to watch it in 4K updated version, do it because it's like a completely different movie. But
I do need to get a 4K copy of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can see why that would be frustrating because some of the acting is terrible. But
I mean, all the acting in this movie is overdone. So I mean, it's like
it's super hammy. It's super hammy. But I'm telling you, I think Klaus Kinski is fucking fantastic in this movie. I love him. He's so incredibly unsettling. Now, that being said, that guy's a piece of fucking garbage.
Yeah.
He's a complete fucking scumbag. I mean, he allegedly sexually assaulted his daughter, and like this guy's got an awful fucking legacy. All right, I'm not gonna sit here and heap a shit ton of praise on this guy without pointing out the many flaws in his fucking character, because by all accounts he was probably a complete scumbag.
Yeah,
that being said, he is really good in this movie.
Everything he did, like he was the bad guy in the original. Oh, they made a Hitchhiker TV show. I didn't even know that.
You never heard of the Hitchhiker TV show?
No,
it's like a horror anthology.
Yeah, I just think of like, I don't know. He's one of the guys I think that like he's popped up in a bunch of the we talk about him a lot on here. The Brandon's Tennel's like where he does like old movies like and he talks about a lot of Italian exploitation films, right? And I think he ended up Klaus, like that's what I know his name from before this. Like he ended up in a lot of those films, like back in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, and it's just like it's the thing, man. Like we talk about this all the time, and I think Brian and like Ken and I, like we've all had like discussions. So it's the thing of when art comes from shitty people. We all have varying degrees of what we accept, right? Like what we can put up with and what we like go, I would like. I hate J.K. Rowling, and I will do everything I can in my heart to like not give that woman another cent the rest of my life until she croaks. After she croaks, I'll give her like, I'll buy Harry Potter shit again, maybe. But like, it's that thing where like, if someone was shitty and like, when you stop like giving them support, I mean, if I would have known this guy was shitty back then and was like, around watching movies, I probably wouldn't have gone to see it. But like being shitty back then was also like a better kept secret, right? We didn't have the internet where people being shitty was like,
Yeah, we didn't find out about a lot of the stuff that he allegedly had done until well after he'd even died.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even know about some of the things until I was just reading about him before we jumped on the fucking podcast just now.
Yeah, he died in 1991.
Pretty awful on set to everybody, but
I mean,
that's all I'd really known.
Well, we were talking about it in the first time we tried to record. Also, the director sounds like a piece of shit too. Who was
Werner Herzog? Yeah.
What was he? Okay. What was he shitty about? I don't know what he.
He pulled a gun on Klaus Kinski.
During shooting?
No, he didn't do the shooting. He just pulled the gun.
That was just such a great dad joke that I love you. Like I hated it, but I loved it.
He didn't do the shooting. He didn't pull the gun. No, he's known to be kind of a Stanley Kubrick style filmmaker.
Yeah.
Pretty pretty intense, pretty rough.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick's style. Dude, you know what's funny is that, like, because you just made me think about this, like, is that the big Stanley Kubrick thing that people give shit to is like Shelley Duvall and like how much he traumatized her, but like she never said a bad word about that man, like, until the day she died a couple months ago.
Right.
Like she seemed like the sweetest lady in the world, and if she did, like, if she hated the dude, she was pretty classy about it and didn't, like, you know, wasn't like going out of her way to try to shit all over him, because I mean she outlived him by 25 years because he died in like 99, right before like Eyes Wide Shut came out. He handed in Eyes Wide Shut and then like 4 days later died. He was like,
yeah,
I'm done.
Have you seen that?
No, I hear it's a Christmas movie though.
That movie fucking sucks. I can't stand Eyes Wide Shut.
Have you seen Eyes Wide Shut?
I watched it when it came out. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I can acknowledge that this movie being important, especially for German cinema, and if it did things like, but let's be real. My favorite movie of all time came out in 1979, and I would watch that movie a million times before I'd watch this movie again.
100%. Yeah, so would I.
Yeah, it's Alien is like 1979. It's like a lot of stuff. Like, I don't know. It's, and Brian, you have a point that, like, I don't know why this. I think that this movie's pacing just got my ADHD real bad, and it's like it felt like I said earlier. This is half an hour shorter than the new one, and the pacing in this it feels 4 hours long. It just is. The pacing and the artsy nature of everything is just a weird combo for my brain, and yeah, I bounced off this hard. I finished that, got through all of it, but fuck.
I'll say this: if it wasn't for a movie like this, I don't think German cinema would be where it is today.
What is I mean, let's be real. German cinema. I don't know much about German cinema. Like, I don't know how big of an impact it has on the world. And I know that, like,
I don't think you understood my comment.
Was this about shitting on people's chests? I don't know. Like,
no, I'm not. Okay, I guess I should have said it a little more sarcastically. If it wasn't for this,
okay, you said it so. I was gonna say now, because now that it was sarcasm, I'm not great at reading sarcasm. My neurodivergent brain is like bounces off of it unless you're like holding up. This is sarcasm. When you say it completely. Ken is just like checked out completely at this point. Like the recording twice, Brian's lost his brain. This podcast has gone off the rails so fucking hard, dude.
I can't breathe.
Dude, I left the other day. I found this. It was like an Instagram reel about this blind kid playing football, and it was like cute, and then they played death metal music while he was charging into the, like, as a lineman, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen, but I laughed so hard. I'm just like, I'm going, if there was a hell, I would probably be going there now. But yeah, Brian, I'm sorry that your sarcasm didn't. That was the point. German cinema doesn't mean much in the world of 2024. But the way Brian said it, I'm just like,
there is, to be fair. I just pulled up.
Hold on, I gotta look at like Germany. Okay, so like if
I
you
pulled
look
up German cinema classics, and there's some.
Everything is like set in Germany.
Like The Lives of Others was my favorite German film I've ever seen. It was about like during the 80s of like an agent during the like east-west sides of Germany thing, you know. That movie was great. Fantastic fucking film. Someone let me borrow it years ago. But like I don't know much about that German cinema. Like it is what it is.
Shit.
Yeah.
I just pulled it up and I don't know any of these.
Yeah.
Run Lola Run's
here's
really
the thing.
good.
I'm not German.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we know you don't like fart porn and like weird poopy porn. Germany likes weird porn if you don't know, by the way.
It's kind of like you know, probably because I'm not in Germany. It's kind of like the other day when somebody was in the stream talking about Kat's calling me his wife, and he was like, "This is America. You have to put a ring on her before you." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not in America." And he was like, "What? This isn't Germany. I don't watch German films."
I mean, but you watch Canadian films, Ken. You are only about Canadian films, like Black Christmas.
Canadian film is fine. It's quite fine.
Like Psycho Goreman is Canadian film, Ken.
So is My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah. My Bloody Valentine.
And so is A Christmas Story.
Isn't there a new My Bloody Valentine coming out next year?
God, I fucking hope not.
There is, I think.
I don't
think there is.
I think there is, Brian. They remade it again. Brian. And Brian with his minor tattoo on his back and is going to be crying as like they remade.
Yeah, they're remaking My Bloody Valentine. Blumhouse.
I swear to God, if you two are lying,
I'm not lying.
I look this up. I will My Bloody Valentine the fuck out of you.
No.
It's on Reddit, Screen Rant, Bloody Disgusting, Fangoria, Yahoo. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes.
Yahoo. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Listen, if you have a Hotmail email address, an AOL email address, or a Yahoo email address, it might be time to start migrating to a different server.
Okay, I feel attacked because I use a Yahoo email address, and
you do not.
I do. My primary email address is.
I used a Lycos email address back in 1990, but
you know why? You know why I can't? Because all my fucking accounts on the internet got created with it, and I don't want to deal with migrating.
Fine, you could hold on to Yahoo, but please get rid of your AOL.
I don't use AOL. It's okay. Brian's traumatized over here. That's what you get, Brian, for making us watch this bullshit. That's what you get, Brian.
I'm just reading all the bullshit about fucking My Bloody Valentine. Blumhouse is fucking doing that.
Blumhouse's batting average is
Silent Night, Deadly Night. That's okay.
Yeah, but not.
I don't know. Maybe they'll do it justice because I don't hate the other remake.
No, I thought that
I don't hate it.
I think
the problem I have with that, and I know there's more. I love that you don't mind that we get all fucking side questy.
This is ADHD. The
we
podcast.
Go all Preston fucking Garvey.
Yeah.
There's another settlement that needs your help. Right. I'm working on your map for you.
But they didn't pay. Like in the original My Bloody Valentine, the mine itself is like a fucking whole character.
Yeah, dude, that makes me laugh so hard.
Treated the mine as like an afterthought in the remake.
Yeah. Dude, favorite thing about the mine in the original, if you don't know this, they were like they picked this mine to go shoot the movie.
I know everything about that.
I know Brian does, but then the town was like, "Oh, they're shooting in it," so they went and cleaned the mine. They were so mad. They're like, "No, we wanted to be grungy and shitty and you guys," because people, I assume teenagers.
Fortune.
Yeah,
they had to spend a fortune to make that mine dirty again.
Yeah, they like. I assume teenagers had been partying in it or whatever. Like, yeah, whatever. And so, but yeah, I don't know, man. Cinema's weird, man. I like I said, I'll go back to this movie. I can see it being important. I just like my 2024 ADHD adult brain just like it just doesn't work for me.
Serious, not a joke now.
Yeah.
This movie suffers from what a lot of horror movies from like the 70s and early 80s suffer from. It's the generational shift in what people find scary nowadays.
Yeah.
Because like if I would have showed this movie to Warren, he would just been like, dude, I fucking fell asleep 20 minutes in. You know, people that are getting into horror post 90s, 90 whatever, 92, 93, they find things completely different.
Well, dude,
to be, something scary is everything's evolved, dude, horror wise, and this suffers from that pretty badly, as most 70s horror movies do,
dude. So one of my greatest examples of that for me is why I don't watch the Universal monster movies. The Mummy was the one I watched, and I was bored to fucking death in the 30s Mummy. I'm just Boris Karloff's great as the fucking Mummy. Like, he looks, but that movie's pacing, and it goes back to this movie. Bad pacing and slower pacing used to be okay, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like now, if a movie's longer than 90 minutes, you better fucking catch my attention, get me going, because otherwise I'm gonna feel like you're wasting my time. The new Nosferatu was a half an hour longer than this, and it felt like they spent. I'm not ruining things. They spend a lot more time it's in Germany in the new one instead of Amsterdam, but they spend more time there, but it doesn't, the pacing is just so much better that it doesn't feel like it. Like, it feels like so the pacing in this is just slower from a slower time, like Brian's talking about. And there not being any carnage canny because it's PG doesn't help. The best part about this movie is the guy Klaus being fucking creepy, even though he's overacting at times too. But it's just his image and what because one of the big differences between this and the new one is that fucking Nosferatu's on the screen a lot in this film. They don't hide him. They don't hide him this film. They're like, here he is, and you get to see him the whole movie, right? Which I think can be problematic. I mean, it's the whole Jaws thing. Like, when you see the shark too much, he stops being as scary, right? Like, it's that thing where you
yeah, they don't even show Bruce in that movie until the fucking end, until the final act.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I think that that's one of the things I really enjoy about the new one is it's that.
Let's stop talking about it. We don't.
I'm not going into details, but I think how they do that, I enjoy better. I think that they could have done better with it being more of a slow burn reveal with him. But he does a good job, even though he's a creepazoid. Doing that. I think that the guy playing what's his name? The salesman.
Jonathan Harker.
Yeah, Jonathan was. Let's put it, the longer that movie goes on, the worse his acting gets. It seems like to me is he's okay at the beginning, and then by the end where her crumbling up the communion wafers and making a circle in front of him in the chair in the corner. And he has the fucking makeup. It was like he was in Catholic school time. It was a bad episode of Supernatural. We're gonna take these communion wafers and put them in a circle, and you can't leave your chair. That made me laugh. I'm sorry. That was I think the funniest part of this movie. I get it. I didn't rant like I did the first time we started recording, but this movie, I mean, so much in the 70s. You talk about it, Brian. I don't think The Exorcist is I understand why they're a really, really creepy part. That movie's slow paced too, right? It's it's that pacing in the 70s was way different, and that's why Alien and fucking Halloween are they're way more direct. And I think with both those films, budgets mean a lot, right? And Ken said this movie was only a $1 million budget, but you made an hour and 45 minutes feel like 3 hours. It is I don't know. And I'm glad it was successful, and I'm glad it did what it did, but fuck, man, this was not for me. And I'm glad you like it, Brian.
It's a fine. I think it's fine. I do enjoy the movie. It's not something I visit regularly by any means, because I do. There's certain, like I said, there's definitely I question a lot of people's like super praise for this movie because I feel like this gets a lot of inflated love.
Yeah, it's like you're not. It's like you have to love it because it's important, kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
like
you don't. It's okay to think that they could have done better. You know? Like some of the you hit it. Like the music can be a bit overbearing.
Dude, it's overwhelming. It is mixed so bad.
And I feel like that's probably a product of poor production value.
It feels like they were trying.
Did you know that Typo Negative did a score for this?
No.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Typo Negative actually even they got the opportunity to do. Let's see, Nosferatu, Typo Negative.
So this is like coming up and we're about to wrap things up. Do you have any ideas of things you would like to watch next week? Because after Brian did this to us, we need something to lighten our palates a little bit.
Oh no, they didn't. I thought they did it to this. They did it to the original one. Sorry, never mind.
I was gonna say, was Typo Negative a thing in 1979? Like they were. Yeah. I know that. Okay, okay.
Yeah, they did a score to the 22 version. Never mind.
Okay,
I thought it was to this one.
Well, the score was lost, like I said, as Socrates taught me. So.
Yeah.
I think we should do Azrael.
Okay.
I will drop a link in Discord.
It's on Plex already, so we're okay with that. So
yeah.
Man, we've done a lot of like no talking movies the last couple of years, huh? Like there's no talking in that. And I know about that, and like I've been meaning to watch this, so that's a good pick. I think and that was in your top. Was it in your honorable mentions, or was it on your top 5?
Yeah, it was in my top list.
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, okay, cool. We'll do Azrael next week with the Scream Queen herself, Samara Weaving. Dude, I really hope they don't drop the ball with Ready or Not 2. I don't know how or what they're doing with Ready or Not 2, but I hope it's great. Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's like one of those movies. It's like, dude, they're doing Black Phone too, but like the screenwriter and Scott Derrickson are both working on it. So I'm like,
yeah.
And they said they had a great idea. Yeah, I'm like, that movie didn't need a sequel, but if you had if you had a good idea, cool. So like, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Azrael next week then. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap this one up?
I'm so glad you guys love this movie.
Next week, Ken and I will continue with the podcast. Brian,
Brian's guest hosting is done officially.
No, Brian, I could never kick you off. You so bitch. I love you. I'm just giving you shit. Okay, cool. We'll do Azrael next week. This is an experience, and I will say, go see the 2024 Nosferatu because I think it's a fantastic film. Yeah. So, okay, cool. Ken, all your links.
Continue.com, twitch.tv/continue KINTINUE. I am currently playing Stardew Valley and probably going to try to play all the way through. So I'm having a blast with it.
There's an ending to that game?
Well, like if you complete Grandpa's quests, which at least that's what it used to be. I don't know if it's still there or not.
Yeah, because they just updated the shit out of that.
Ken, when are you going to play Silent Hill 2? Because I want to see.
I don't know. People have been asking me to, so we'll see. Maybe soon.
Okay, that's a one game that I think is like perfectly up your alley. Of like, you haven't played anything spoopy in a while, so I think it would be.
Yeah, I haven't. It's been a long time.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, go watch Continue. Her stream's awesome, and I love her to death. Brian, what's your?
I'm Brian.
When does the other podcast come back?
Oh yeah, I was like, why did you say my name? I zoned the fuck out. You can find me here, and you can find me at We're Gonna Make You Watch on YouTube. And our next episode, we made Warren watch Terror Train.
Oh God, I'm sorry, Warren. I'm
David
sorry.
Copperfield classic.
Or that's
slashic, as the kids like to say.
Brian, do this for me when you say classic when you're talking about Terror Train.
Sorry, you're right.
Oh God, that movie's terrible.
Oh yeah. I know. And we had a great time making him watch it, and he had opinions, and that episode will drop right after this one drops. So like this will drop Thursday. So if you're listening to this on the day of, in approximately 3 days, I think you're going to be getting a new episode, some shit like that. Fuck, I don't know. We've been on break for like ever because we recorded all of our episodes like a long time ago, so we could take November and December off.
That's awesome,
so,
dude. I
don't even know what those guys are up to.
Dude, I've been a slacker. I haven't like streamed in over a week because I've just been like, I'm being lazy and just not streamed.
I was gonna say you haven't streamed in a while, but you know what? You need to stream. You need to play Indiana Jones.
Satisfactory. Oh, sorry.
Nope, Ken. Nope. I feel like
Indiana Jones, bro.
Yeah, I've been addicted to Path of Exile too. Like everyone in that game's been a problem when I've actually been on my computer. So
there's something satisfying about punching a German as Indy, though.
Can I get a mod where they all look like they all look like Klaus Kinski? Okay, I want all the Germans to look like Klaus Kinski in the game, and so like
so you can just punch the fuck out of them.
Yeah, I need Klaus and like.
That sound effect that they use is just right out of the Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah. Do they even have the? They even have the? What do you call it? The guy getting thrown off the? What's that called? I can't even think of the name. The generic scream that they've been using. Yeah. What is? I can't think of the name of it. All of a sudden,
I can't remember what it's called too.
Yeah.
I just remember the name of that.
Okay, but yeah, I'm on Twitch at @Ryder_Johnston, and I'm on Blue Sky. I think something similar. And I swear to God, this week I'll make a Blue Sky for the podcast. Okay, and if I don't, Brian could kick me in the nuts. So
I'm gonna get back to sending you copies of Blue Sky.
Okay, you can do that.
Blue Skies by random singers on Spotify.
Okay, guys, I love you, and we will catch you guys next week for Azrael. Bye.
Bye.